Hello and welcome to the 8th video in our series about ClinDoc. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a macro. This could be a very exciting topic for you to learn about, so let's go ahead and get started. To start off our conversation, I'm just going to define what a macro is. A macro is a short code of text linked to other information. So it can be sentences, it can be a normal exam, it can be a op note, a procedure note, anything of that nature. If you currently have macros built within PhysDoc, those macros will be available for you to import when ClinDoc becomes available. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a little bit. All right, so you're looking at my screen. I am logged into Clinician Hub. I'm not on the documentation tab at this moment because when I do macros, I can build my macros, manage my macros from anywhere within Clinician Hub. Okay, so to manage my macros, I'm going to come up here to right beside my logged in username. To the left of that is this 3-line little icon. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go to Manage Macros. All right, so what we see when this screen opens is I've got one macro already created. I created that earlier today. This is my short text name to my text that I have linked to it. If I want to edit it, of course, here's my edit option. I open this up, I can change it however I want. Now, if this shared, what shared means is that if one of my coworkers wants to use my macro, I have to make it shared, okay? So when I make it shared or click that box, it makes it available for that physician to go in there to choose it to import it. And I'll show you how to import here in just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of there. I have the option also I can delete macros, okay? If I want to add a macro, I just come up here to the add macro. I type in my short text of what it is that I want to type in to make my macro title or macro fire. Okay. Now I would type in my content of my macro, or I'm just going to copy paste. So I'm going to paste that information in here. Okay. I've got these buttons that I can bold things if I want to. I can italicize some things. I can underline them too. If there is something that I want to make it editable to get my attention to where I'll change it, something that I can type into, I can add a text variable. Okay, so for example, I might want to do a different centimeter every time that I put this macro in. So I'm going to put in a text variable. Okay. There is an option for patient data that would, if I wanted to enter it in here, it would pull in my patient's name, date of birth, all this kind of stuff in here. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to make this one shareable well, actually, let's go ahead and we'll make this one shareable. Okay. And I'm going to save it. Okay. Now, if I want to import a macro from someone else, one of my coworkers, or if I've had a macro made in PhysDoc that I want to import into ClinDoc, here is the button that I'm going to go to. So I can go here. I'm going to look for the macro that I want to import, which right now they're not all of the macros from the live environment are not showing up in here. But let's say I want to use this one. Okay, so I'll click import and close out of there. And now it's part of my macros that I can use. So I'm going to close out of here. All right, so let's go ahead and pick a patient and go into our documentation. I'm gonna do a quick note, and I'm gonna show you how the macro will fire in there. All right. So remember, I double click on the template to make it populate over here to the left. Any of these blank fields is anything that I can put my macro into. Now, if it is a long macro, more than 4,000 characters, you cannot insert that into a small box like this. It has to be one of the bigger boxes. If the option for you is only there for a small box within that titled section, you can always go to this Add Narrative little TV button right here to get the macro to fire in there. All right, so for right now, I am going to insert my macro that I just created. So all I did was I typed in my code and I hit my space bar, and then all of this information appears. Now I can come back in here. I'm going to put in my 4 centimeter. I can change this if I want to, add something to it. Okay. Just show my preview over here so you guys can see that as well. Now, for you guys that currently have macros, you're used to typing in your macro code, and you can either hit the space bar or the enter key. With ClinDoc, the only thing that will fire the macro is to hit the space bar for right now. Okay, so that is a change for you guys. This concludes our video on how to create a macro. Thank you.